My name is Tom Livelli. Live in Monterey, California. I'm originally from the Jersey Shore, and so I'll tell you what I think about Texas, so long as you don't hold against me the fact that I'm from the Jersey Shore.
Right.
So my impression of Texas is, I guess, one of contrasts. I think, on the one hand, I've had the impression that probably comes from being, an East Coaster and educated in New England, that it was very rural and uneducated. And I think that there's truth to that in certain parts. I've actually, just saying, I've been in Texas before. I spent some time in Houston. I've spent time in Dallas and Austin, and so I have, since I guess those early impressions, gotten additional information. And I would say if somebody told me they're from Texas, that I would assume they are fervently proud of being Texan and kind of in your face about it. I'm not sure why that is, but I think they love their freedom and
Freedom from what?
just free. Well, they're practically secessionists, right? It's almost like its own country, and I think at this point they've already I think legislated that they're not going to follow certain federal laws. So I feel like they're legally, kind of politically, and culturally just separate, and I'm wondering if one day within my lifetime they might actually become their own country. So, if I explained before, if you go to any college or university, there's different international clubs, and there's always a Texas club, and that's the only state that's ever represented in that way. So I think that's great. I think they've got a lot of stuff together there, and freedom in terms of also like I do real estate development, zoning. In Houston, there's no zoning laws. You could do whatever you want.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's actually worked out pretty well for Houston.
Churches and liquor stores and schools all together?
Yeah, I haven't spent that much. I was in Galveston. I haven't. What I've read from stuff about Houston and its lack of zoning, that it hasn't been a disaster, or the disaster that some people feared it would be. And it's very kind of free market, capitalist, like let the market decide. And I'm personally am kind of that same mind. So in certain ways,
do you have a political side? Would you say you're?
I would say that I have migrated dramatically from the left to the right. And I also think when somebody tells me they're from Texas, I assume they're Republican. I assume they probably own a gun. I assume they probably have hunted at some point in their lives, if it's not a regular hobby.
But not Christian style.
Yeah, I think right, I think right. I think they're Christian, largely, and I think they're probably honest. If somebody tells me they're from Texas, I don't assume that they're shady or unscrupulous. I assume that they're going to be honest and forthright and in your face, and they're going to do what they want to do, and that's sort of the way it is.
Anything else you want to say about your experience with Texans?
It's, I think people are people in the end, and Texans just happen to, the volume is turned up on certain personality traits.
Well said. Thanks.